Hi, this is Matthew Mercer, and this is my last meal.
Every person has exactly two things in common. We all gotta eat and we're all gonna die. Today's guest is the voice behind some of your favorite characters from animation and video games, and he's also the chief creative officer for Critical Role, whose new animated series, The Mighty Nein, is out now on Prime Video, but his first true love was illustration because he started quite the small business in middle school. Matthew Mercer, welcome to the show.
Hey, so happy to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Of course, tell me about this little cottage industry you started in middle school. You were drawing comic book characters.
We're going right to it with this.
On commission. No, I'm fascinated by the entrepreneurial spirit.
So yeah, okay, understood. I as a child, I loved to draw. I had a bunch of sketchbooks. It was very much kind of my youth's main hobby was drawing and sketching, and I loved comics and creatures and monsters, and you also don't have a lot of ways of making money when you're a kid.
Sure.
So when I was in middle school, this is pre-internet, in which adult materials were far more difficult to acquire. So there was a lot of interest from a lot of young kids that I went to school with to pay me to draw them my opinion of what a naked body would look like.
Now, when you say your opinion of what a naked body would look like, some would say there's an objective fact of what they look like, but you just sort of had to make it up in your own mind.
Parts of it, yes. You know, being a young boy who also didn't have access to any of these things, like I could kind of glean the overall structure, but when it came to details, I had to kind of fill in the gaps, if you will.
Fill in the gaps, leave some of the gaps empty, try and figure out where the gaps were.
Exactly,
You know?
yeah. It was very much like everything from Chun-Li to Wolverine to pretty much most of the X-Men. I drew a lot of characters naked.
It was mostly X-Men, it sounds like.
A lot of it, yeah, because I mean, me and my friends were heavily into Marvel Comics at that time, and both, from across the whole gender spectrum, really. So yeah, I learned a lot about anatomy through trial and error.
That's so beautiful. I can't wait to see what Wolverine looks like down there.
I think there were a few different interpretations.
Is it retractable?
Well, I would hope so. Otherwise, he should get that looked at by a doctor.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on Last Meals.
My pleasure.
This is the general tone of the show. Welcome.
I love it. No, wait, just to break it wide open right out of the gate.
Absolutely. Have you thought about your last meal before?
For me, when the opportunity came up, I was like, what is last meal? Is it just something that's delicious? It's like, no, what's something that to me is almost like a culmination of memories attached to food.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So that was kind of like where I was coming back. It's like, what would I want to eat? And part of that process of eating it would kind of revisit important things from my life.
Yeah, I think that's like a real craftsman storyteller's way of approaching this, which is obviously very befitting of your character, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Did any of those memories that were brought up from the dishes you chose surprise you?
Yeah, there were a lot of things I wrote down and then just got rid of them because I was like, this is delicious, but it doesn't have a deep personal resonance. And so, yeah, I ended up just kind of picking the ones that really kind of meant something to me. There are a couple in there that are just really delicious, but have a little bit of
Sure.
a little bit of resonance. But yeah, I just kind of, I guess, if you're gonna have a last meal, let it bring you through your own journey in a way.
Yeah.
So kind of an autobiographical meal, I guess.
No, I think exactly that. Yeah.
So that was my inspiration.
I can't wait to eat your memories.
I will quote you on that for a long time. What a wonderful antagonist line in a horror film. I can't wait to eat your memories.
And I would only want you to voice that character.
If we come around to it, I'll give you co-production credit.
Perfect. Well, at least let me PA. How often do you think about death in general?
Not terribly often. It's hard not to consider mortality as a mortal.
Yeah. You said as a mortal as if there was an opportunity for you to not be immortal, as if you sort of chose that,
It's quitter talk if you give in to that too early.
Point.
No, it's interesting. I've come in recent years to understand that I don't think I fear death. If anything, it's what makes a lot of things beautiful. I don't want it to happen sooner than I'm ready, of course, but I don't have a lot of existential dread 3 a.m. in the darkness moments these days. I had those when I was younger a little bit, but I've kind of come to terms with it a little bit.
Do you think part of that is wisdom? As you get older, you sort of understand almost cosmically that death is really the only thing giving life context?
Wisdom could be a word for it. I could also very well be just ignorance. It could be
Tired too. Tired.
Yeah.
When you have
just
more energy,
sleepy.
you can think about death.
Yeah, I don't have the bandwidth for death anymore. I think about it more in like the metaphysical context of trying to figure out what is beyond it from my standpoint. You know, it's less about I'm scared of the prospect, and more like, what's a fun theory that could be beyond this?
Yeah.
What's another fun theory? What, researching, I actually love researching and studying death rituals through history, through cultures, and how much is unique and how much is shared. And kind of through those shared spaces, there's a lot of really fascinating philosophies that I think are beautiful means of continuation from generation to generation. But also, I have a love of physics, astrophysics, quantum physics. And the more you look into quantum physics, the weirder it gets to the point where it starts also kind of dispelling my fear of oblivion to a degree.
I can't wait to eat dumplings and get into it. You ready to eat?
I'm so ready to
Let's
eat.
do it. All right, Matthew, for the first course of your final meal, we have a Caesar salad, classic romaine anchovy egg yolk in Dijon dressing, fresh shaved Parmesan and homemade croutons on top. And then we have the Southern style chicken and dumplings. We have the biscuit dough on top of just like your classic chicken pot pie filling, a little bit of rosemary and thyme in there. And then we have an old fashioned, this is actually made with overproof rye. This is my favorite way to do it. A little bit of Angostura bitters, and then of course fresh orange zest on there.
I love it. Thank you.
Cheers, man.
My goodness. Oh, that's delicious.
God damn. What a way to wake up.
I'm about to say, like, worst ways to start your day.
Can I dish you some dumplings?
Please do. I'm so excited.
Tell me about the dumplings. How did this make it on the last meals menu?
I come from a southern family, a lot of family from the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, which is where I originally grew up as a young kid. And chicken and dumplings is just a classic kind of comfort meal, but it's specifically comfort in my family because whenever I was sick as a kid, my mom would make me either chicken and rice or chicken and dumplings. And I was actually deciding between those two. It had this memory of feeling protected, of feeling warm, of recovering and being with family, and it made me think of my mom and was just very appreciative of that. But then years later, when me and my wife Marisha started dating, she's from Kentucky, early into our relationship wanted to cook and said, I'm gonna make you my esteemed chicken and dumplings. And it was one of those like, oh my God, I love you even more because you make one of the best Southern meals. And then her version was unique but close in the flavor and texture palette to what I grew up with. And so now it's almost like bookended between my mom who raised me and now my partner who shows that as a way of sharing her love of culinary arts and cooking with me and friends as well. And so to me it just kind of felt like a good bookend of the woman who was most important in my younger part of my life and the woman who's now most important in my life going forward. So it had that kind of personal significance and it's just delicious. So.
Man, that was beautiful. And when you were sick as a child, your mother used to make you old fashions as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
The Southern way. Cure it with whiskey. Cure it with a little, put it on the gums, get them to stop crying.
Exactly, well, it's funny because like I didn't drink until I was in my mid-20s or so. My, and I think I've talked a few things about my father, who I love to death. He's a wonderful person, but he's had his challenges with alcohol and addiction and stuff like that. And so he's clean now. for quite some time. But because of that, I didn't drink for a long time because I was afraid that I would kind of be subject to the same predilections.
Yeah, of course.
It wasn't until I started dating my wife Marisha, but she's from Kentucky and bourbon is a very big thing. And so she loved wine, she loved bourbon and whiskey, and I didn't really care for either.
Yeah.
And she went, we're gonna change that. And so Old Fashions was one of those drinks that kind of initially taught me like, oh, there's so many different unique flavor profiles that can pair with whiskey and bourbon that can completely change the mood and the feel and the taste of what you can enjoy whiskey for. And so the Old Fashioned has since become like a staple of my relaxation to like before getting on a plane or when I get home after a long day at the end of the week. It's gentle, it's simple, and I find it the comfort drink to match the comfort food.
I was gonna say that there seems to be like a real theme of comfort here, and then of course a lot of it like centering around Marisha, which I think is really beautiful.
Can we dig in?
Dig in. Oh, please. I'm on you. This is your last meal. You go as crazy as you want to. Did you feel pressured to order a salad because you thought you should?
To bring back to the story, my dad made the most incredible Caesar salad growing up. There's a lot of family stories here. I'm sorry.
No, this is perfect. I mean, especially seeing like why it's important to you. This is awesome.
My dad very much was like the culinary king of the kitchen. It would make like the tri-tip steaks and the grill master, and but the Caesar salad was something that he was renowned for within not just our family circles, but eventually expanding friend circles. His dressing was so unique and delicious that friends would ask him to make batches to host his Caesar salad at their parties. When we first moved to LA, we were a bunch of bumpkins out of Florida, and we'd have people who would hear about his Caesar salad and be like, hey, we'll pay you to make a large batch and go, prepare it at this big party where up in the Hollywood Hills or somewhere, and people would comment like, this is the best Caesar I've ever had in my life. And
is your dad Ken of Ken's Caesar salad dressing?
He is not. He is not. He is a wonderful, and I say this with absolute love, hippie-ass musician in Hawaii. I love him so much. But his Caesar salad to this day is such an incredible thing, and has just touched many lives, myself included.
I need to try your father's Caesar salad dressing. I need to see I want to try and decode it. Has he told you the secret ingredient to it? Or is that going to be a thing where like he's on his deathbed and it's like, my son.
I've asked and he's tried, but like I asked him, I said, could you write it down for the sake of like, lineage and legacy? And he goes, it's just kind of a vibes thing. I'm like, well,
you did say hippie-ass musician in Hawaii. That makes sense. Yeah,
I love it. But no, he'll be out here for the holidays. So maybe I'll see if I can make an extra large batch, and then I'll just have to bring it by the studio.
I would genuinely love that.
I'm gonna note that. I'm gonna take you up on that.
Digging into the dumplings, I don't know if you believe in the butterfly effect, but there's a world in which if Burt Reynolds never exists, then you were never born. How does Burt Reynolds factor so much into your existence?
Part of the reason we're even here in LA is through that weird pipeline.
We actually get most of our guests via the Burt Reynolds pipeline. You'd be surprised how common it is.
I mean, it's a strong pipeline, and I'm thankful for it. No, my grandmother met him many years ago. I think she was working real estate in Florida, and he was like getting his Florida ranch set up in like the 70s and 80s, and he just liked her energy, I guess, and hired her on to begin like assisting in parts of production. And so she went from just being a Carolina woman with a strong motherly opinion. She's been in many cases in her life a single mother through her 6 marriages. She's a badass. She was a badass. And so it was through her working through happenstance with Burt Reynolds through that meeting to then become part of his production company, and then was like a executive producer on his show Evening Shade back in the early 90s. And so she was like the cool grandma who lived out here in LA and had like a Corvette. And so we'd come out and visit her, and then eventually she helped my mom get a script opportunity, and then we all moved out to LA so that she could pursue writing as a career. And so that was our impetus as a family when I was like 7, turning 8.
Yeah.
To come from Florida, to escape Florida, because you don't move out of Florida, you escape Florida.
It's a fair point. Yeah.
To come out to LA. And
I heard after Escape from New York and Escape from LA, they tried to make Escape from Florida, but they're still shooting it. Kurt Russell's just still there. He's like, I got to Tallahassee and I don't know where to go.
It's hard to get out of there.
There's also a tie-in with Burt Reynolds to Dungeons and Dragons in your family. Campaign 1 of Critical Role, episode 105 and 106. You played with a character that your mom played with in the back of the Burt Reynolds dinner theater in Florida about 30 years prior.
Correct.
That's crazy. How did that feel?
So the pipeline from there was Burt Reynolds at the time was working with my grandma. My grandma was then actually helping manage the Burt Reynolds dinner theater in Jupiter, Florida, which was this kind of major southeast destination for traveling theater at that time in the US. And my mom began working out there, working under her mom. My dad, when he started dating my mom, was helping do audio up in the audio booth, and they were all it was like a theater family at that point. One of the apprentices at the time was an amazing young actor named Darren DePaul, who befriended my parents at the time, worked with my grandma, and played D&D at that theater back in the earlier days of it, made his first D&D character there. Then he went off to pursue a career in New York for many years. Our lives scattered. If I wasn't an infant, I maybe not have been born yet when they were doing this.
Were you conceived that night?
Probably. Look, Darren's that powerful.
I get it.
He probably like whenever my parents went like, the two of you, it's time. You hear that voice, and I mean, I drop my pants.
I'm feeling something.
That's inappropriate. I'm sorry, Darren. I'm sorry, Darren.
Darren, we haven't met, but I'm not sorry at all.
This is so good. So anyway, long story short, many years later, I was working on a few voiceover projects here in LA with this amazing individual, this charismatic but sweet and lovely man in glasses and a vest. He dressed like a tax preparer from the 70s. And we became friends, and eventually through conversation, he mentioned that he used to be at an apprentice at the Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater, and I was like, do you know Elaine? He's like, yeah, why? I'm like, that's my grandmother. And it was this weird moment of us being friends for now years at this point, and then realizing our lives have been intertwined from long before that. And then he got to play that same D&D character on Critical Role as kind of a continuation of that weird lineage.
Burt Reynolds, man, tying everything together.
Yeah.
The Longest Yard.
Thanks, Burt.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Burt's a complicated figure.
Burt is a complicated R.I.P. to Burt Reynolds.
Indeed, but for all the great things you may have done intentionally or not in your life, thank you for at least giving my grandma the opportunity to be cool.
What was your first interaction with Dungeons & Dragons? I know your mom bought the monster manual from a garage sale, but had you actually played the game at that point at all, or you were just drawing the characters naked?
No, I didn't have the cool friends that wanted D&D monsters naked yet. You know, well, the internet that hadn't picked up as a subgenre.
So you got the DMs that I've sent you then, okay.
Yeah,
good,
no,
good,
and
good.
give me at least till the end of December to finish the commission.
I wait for quality.
But no, I hadn't played. I never had the opportunity. I'd heard about it like as a young kid, but I didn't really understand what it was. I was really deeply into mythology and cryptozoology and just like weird paranormal stuff. I had like the old Time Life, like black leather bound, Mysteries of the Unknown books. Like I think Ghostbusters really, as a kid, kicked off my love of the paranormal and strange stuff. And then mythology led into reading about creatures and monsters I love to draw in my sketchbook. So I'd always heard about D&D, but never had the opportunity to engage with it really. And so my mom knew what I loved as far as like video games and creatures and myth, and found this book for me at a garage sale. And once again, I still didn't have any friends to play with. It's a theme in my younger years, but I loved reading it, like all the lore around these creatures. And it was just kind of an inspiring exercise in imagination as an indoor kid that loved to read.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until high school that I had the chance to actually play with people. So for many years, I was just kind of reading through the book and enjoying it in my imagination.
Just stashing up knowledge.
Kind of, yeah, unintentionally.
Sure.
I had no idea any of this would lead anywhere, but it's been a weird journey.
Were there ever any other like adult figures, say in high school, that kind of influenced your fantasy journey?
Parents, of course, helped out. Video games was an avenue that helped me kind of explore that in a lot of worlds, a lot of early RPGs and JRPGs to like the, Super Nintendo era and early PlayStation era. But there was a teacher in high school named Mr. Busby at my high school. He was at the time, like it was his first year teaching. And I was preparing, I think I was writing stuff for my home game, my first year into really playing as a dungeon master. I finished my test early and I was like writing out stuff and sketching out an NPC, and he took note of it at the end of class. He was like, what were you doing there? I was like, oh, I'm just making stuff for my D&D campaign. He's like, cool, I played a lot of RPGs too. Have you heard of, and he started to run down all these different games I hadn't heard of, like Shadowrun, Amber, the diceless role-playing game. And he began to he was the first young hip adult in my life that was like, oh, hey, it's cool to be a nerd. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
And so he lent me a bunch of novels that he loved as well, and we would talk. I would finish my tests early, bragging on that a little bit, and then I'd go over and we just chat about RPGs and fantasy worlds.
How long has it been since you've talked to him?
It's probably been a few years. We've kept up, and I've come and visited and got lunch with him a few times. So.
Well, we do have a special message from him.
What?
Surprise, it's Mr. Busby. Good to see you again. Not really see you, talk to you. So Josh asked me to share a story about you.
It's Mr. Busby.
Some kids were making fun of Matt. They were teasing him because Matt was the only kid who was taking dance as his PE class as a sophomore. And then I just kind of announced to the group, I said, you're all idiots. And everyone shuts up and looks at me confused. And I said, let me make sure I have this straight. So Matt's the one guy taking dance with like 60 girls, and you guys are making fun of him? who's really the idiots here, right? And so everyone kind of thought about that, and I think Matt appreciated it. I remember that because one of the things I love about Matt is that, sure, he feels peer pressure like the rest of us, but he doesn't let it distract him from what he's excited about, what he's passionate about, what he wants to do. And so, Matt, I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work, and start making Shadowrun as famous as D&D some of these days, right? That'd be nice. Have a good one.
You had to plug Shadowrun.
That's incredible. Oh my, you are a talented manipulator.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
That's the name of the game. You're blinded by the chicken and dumplings and the whiskey.
It's easy to be blinded by it. It's really tasty.
What a cool first adult to have in your life, though.
He's one of those teachers that put far more effort than he needed to.
Yeah.
I remember we were doing European history, and we had gotten into World War I, and we came to class, and the lights were off, and he had arranged all the desks into trenches. And so we spent the class sitting in trenches, discussing trench warfare and the horrors of war this whole time, and that was just an example of like the immersive aspect of his curriculum that you could see he meaningfully wanted you to understand, live in these spaces and absorb the lessons that he's trying to get to you. The special teachers that you could see understood the importance and the responsibility of what he was trying to do, and that has never been lost on me. And I still to this day take a lot of inspiration to put just a little extra effort when it comes to mentoring, when it comes to teaching, to kind of think back to what he did for me and carry that forward in what ways I can.
Yeah. Matthew, for course number 2 of your final meal, we have the steak and cheese quesadilla from Casitas Tacos al Carbon, and then we have the chicken curry katsu with just a little bit of shaved cabbage, some scallion, some ginger dressing, and then hot sauce as the gentleman pleases, down to the bottom third, but that's actually where it concentrates from all the evaporation better. This is well used.
I love it.
Dig in, man. Where are we going first?
Let's go to the quesadilla first.
I think quesadillas have, there's like a proper order to this. Quesadillas, they have a quicker mortality rate.
That's true, yeah, because it congeal over time. I agree.
What's the significance behind Casitas Tacos al Carbon? A place that I have been to dozens of times without ever knowing the name of.
Oh my God. To me, it's the best quesadilla in the world.
It's such a good quesadilla.
It's so good!
Such a good quesadilla.
There's something, and they've held this flavor for like 30 years. I don't know what their secret thing is, but
never washed the grill.
Honestly,
that's the secret.
That could be it. They shave about 10 years off the lifespan, but it's worth it. Yeah, so to bring it back to my father, when we all moved to LA and had aspirations of working in the industry, not everything pans out as you expect. And as a musician, he went where all musicians eventually go to pasture, which is audio post, where it is a sea of
a noble job. Absolutely
a noble job. But it is a sea of ponytails and button-up Hawaiian shirts and beards, and people playing guitar.
They all go to the same Jimmy Buffett concerts.
Absolutely. To spend time with him, if we had the time, me and my brother would go with him to his shift, and we'd bring like blankets and pillows, and we'd end up like falling asleep underneath the audio bench, and one of the places he worked at was right around the corner from Casitas, and he would go there for dinner almost every night. And so whenever we'd go, he would take us, and it was even just the first time trying it, the most delicious quesadilla I've ever had that first time, and then consistently every time since then. So it kind of became this. When I was a kid, I don't have a car for a long time, so I only went there when it was to go spend the evening with my dad at his work.
It's so funny the way that you can almost transmit those taste memories, because I've eaten here dozens of times, and I'm not kidding you when I say that I forget the name of it, because to me this is the kind of quotidian lunch. I never noticed how good it is. Like, that flavor that you're talking about, that's like real proper northern Mexican mesquite. Like the carbone literally means carbon, it's charcoal. Like this is a really, really proper quesadilla. It's like a gift. It's like you're giving someone a gift of a new experience, despite the fact they've already had it.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, it's the one that we went to continuously was the one in Burbank, since that's where all like the audio post houses were. There's another one in North Hollywood as well that is pretty dang close flavor-wise, consistency. So if anyone's traveling to the San Fernando Valley and you want to have the best quesadilla, go to Casitas Tacos al Carbon. It is so good. Okay.
Does this have anything to do with a Japanese multi-level porn-themed hotel?
We don't have the right sausage for that.
Okay, gotcha.
Actually, this will kind of tie into some of the previous dishes. I grew up with a pretty picky palate as a child. As I came into adulthood, I tried to intentionally expand my palate. Some things I realized, because your palate changes as you get older, and you're like, oh, I actually like this now, or I've come to enjoy it. Some things consistently, no. But like curries and spicy food I tried to avoid because I didn't like it as a kid. And it wasn't until I had discovered anime conventions as a teenager and kind of met a new friend circle through cosplay and just being a bunch of anime nerds at a con that I began to be introduced to a lot of Japanese foods that I had never had before or avoided. Sushi to me seemed grotesque. Why would you eat not cooked fish? And then I actually tried some and was like, oh, this is actually really good.
I get it.
But this in particular, there's something about Japanese curry, and I appreciate all curry now. Like I love Indian curry, I love Southeast Asian curry, I love all these different types of curry, but there's something about Japanese curry in particular that is so specifically delicious when paired with rice that I have gone out of my way to keep at least a few bricks of the ready-made curry in our pantry in our kitchen, just in case the mood strikes, that we can go ahead and probably wash some rice and make a meal out of it. And then of course the katsu chicken just pairs with it well as far as like texture goes, as a chicken fan especially.
This is very close to a Southern American dish. This is fried chicken, gravy, and rice. All three of those things are eaten a hell of a lot in American Southern cuisine.
Absolutely. Oh,
damn. I want to ask you about Critical Role. Is it true that Travis Willingham became the CEO because he was the only one who was willing to open a bank account under his name?
Kinda.
Next question.
Was becoming something whether we were ready or not. And so it was about trying to be the most responsible we could with this kind of lightning in a bottle momentum. And part of that was going into business together, which is a terrifying thing. And we all had a very, very extensive series of meetings. We're all like in living room with pads of paper and going like, how do we do this? We're all actors. We have no idea how this is supposed to function. But Travis just kind of has that natural leadership quality already. Yeah, the height helps, the width, the general just girth of a man that he is. It very much kind of felt like the natural role.
It's actually a really interesting check and balance system where, well, nobody's exactly doing what they wanted to do, but what's been foisted upon them with a sense of duty.
Yeah, which I mean, that's all healthy leaders should be chosen really to a certain degree. Even he was like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna start researching. And as the years have gone on, he's done, I don't think people appreciate within our community beyond quite how hard that man has worked to protect what we've built, who we are as people. He is truly the lion guardian to this magical little crew of people. I say little crew of people, I think it extends to all the wonderful collaborators we work with, all the people that are now part of our extended family. Like he's gone toe to toe with some beasts, and I am so endlessly proud and thankful. I couldn't imagine anybody else I would, trust more than him to go into battle alongside.
Yeah. So I had never actually watched like an actual D&D playthrough. And then I started watching Campaign 3. And full disclosure, I did skip around. But I ended up...
It's a lot of content.
It is a lot of content, which the thing that really shocked me was there's an amount of intimacy to it that I wasn't really expecting. Not intimacy like the drawings you used to make in middle school, but I mean like real, genuine, emotional human intimacy. And I was trying to pinpoint where it comes from. And I think it's you and the job you're doing. It's like DMing is like a gift that you're giving people. It's a story that's crafted with so much love and care. And it's like you're bestowing it upon them. But then there's also this like trust from, the actual players of the game. And it's this exchange of intimacy that extends to the audience. And I had like a very emotional moment. I was walking around a park staring at trees just with a grin on my face, watching this transpire. Does that sound anything like the feeling that you get when you're doing this?
Absolutely. Playing one of these games is joyful with a group of people that you appreciate and trust. It's not easy, it takes time, it takes care, but to me, it also shows how much I want to invest in somebody else's joy.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, I care about you so much. I've taken a healthy chunk out of my rare free time and this time that I have on this planet to build an experience for you to be your most heroic self. And I'm excited to see you break it in all the most beautiful ways that you can. It's been how I made most of my friends growing up, as a kind of shy, somewhat introverted kid up until my late high school years, until theater kind of pulled me a little out of my shell. But even like theater, I didn't get into until I'd been playing role-playing games as a way to kind of show me that I had ways to engage with people.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to burp loudly on this show,
100%.
right? Good, because it's coming.
I'm like 2 minutes behind you, brother.
Good. Yeah, this type of collaborative storytelling that tabletop RPGs allow is one of the most accessible cheat codes to that experience. There's so many ways you can do it. So many hobbies, going on hikes together, going in, I know.
No, I'm saying this.
Oh,
this is a hobby to connect people.
And I'm like, okay, I will continue to eat. You don't gotta push me, man.
Eat faster, asshole. Stop yapping. No, I'm saying that this has always been my way to bridge that gap. It's the same. It's like, what lens do you view the world through in a certain regard,
I'm glad you brought that up. Finding those things in your life that you're passionate about that you can share with others as that expression of investing in them. Games have always been that for me. And that's kind of why I think Critical Role even found an audience in what was, and still is, a very proliferated media landscape. We're not trying to create a show to sell. We're playing this for each other. And as much as people on the internet like to say otherwise, I know better because I'm there, I'm in it. This is me wanting to give something to my friends every week and truly appreciating each other, loving each other, sharing in this joy together, and then hopefully through that, opening the window to an audience to inspire them to do the same in whatever way they feel inspired to.
Yeah. That said, sometimes you get sick of cooking, you're like, damn, I wish someone would cook for me. And then now in campaign 4, you find yourself playing for the first time in 10 years.
I am. I got to step back and let my boy Brendan Lee Mulligan step in, who you've also had on this show.
Veteran of the show, similar taste in food. I love it so much. It's all the best foods. Did actually playing a character now instead of DMing, did any of that reignite some love you had for Dungeons & Dragons?
Absolutely. Well, first off, you were totally right. Dip that in there. Two things I would never have thought to combine made better.
Amen.
It's like you know what you're doing.
It's my gift to you. It's my gift to you.
Aww,
like a sommelier.
After 10 years, I felt time for a change, to bring in some new friends, some new perspectives, some new blood. Brendan has become such a dear friend over these years, and someone that I entrust not just with his capabilities as a storyteller, but his heart, his sense of ethics, and every facet of him, I see part of the person I want to be in him, and I was like, this is the person I could trust to hand this over to. And I was very grateful at an early time that he was kind of wanting to already. But now then getting to be a player and be at the same place with all the rest of my friends, both newer, and older, to step into a world that I don't know everything about. I forgot what that sort of mystery is like. The concept of building just a small corner of this space and then stepping out into that fog of war with my friends hand in hand, arm in arm, and going, whatever's coming, we're doing this together, and it's gonna be weird and wild and probably a little perverted and overall extremely fun. And it's been such a joy.
Speaking of weird, wild, and a little perverted, the Mighty Nein.
Oh,
It's out. It's out on Prime Video. Thank you so much. I'm fascinated with the origin. So the Mighty Nein is set, is it 10 years after the...
About 20 years, actually.
About 20 years after Vox Machina. And Vox Machina was initially supposed to be a single 30-minute episode that you crowdfunded for $750,000. Yeah. And then when you launched the Kickstarter, you hit over $1 million in under an hour. And then now, going on 4 seasons of Vox Machina and, the Mighty Nein out, what does that say about the Critical Role fandom? And are you going to try and take over a small island nation? Recommending Palau or Tuvalu. Because you could do it, man, with that funding, Jesus.
I mean, given how things are going now, it might be necessary in a few years.
Critters, I'm one of you now. I've watched 4 hours of gameplay and I'm an expert.
Man, none of this makes sense. We're 10 years into this and we're still constantly going, what is happening to each other? We all met each other as voice actors. We've all been doing this for a while and became friends through the animation industry, through our love of cartoons and video games. And as we were playing these games, even before we were streaming it, we would envision in our heads, man, this would make such a cool cartoon because that's what a lot of people do when they play these games. How would this look as a movie? How would this look as a comic book, Through the overwhelming support of this ever-growing community, we've been able to realize some of these dreams, but animation is so expensive. We're very grateful that we've been so careful to remain independently artist-owned. We are not beholden to VCs or a board of directors or anything like that. So we make what we are inspired and excited to do. That also means you don't really have the means of doing large-scale animation. And so after pitching it around in the studios, not really understanding what we were trying to bring to the table, what made this different or unique, our last Hail Mary was a Kickstarter, which even I was reticent on because I've been involved in Kickstarters that either barely worked and ended up being not worth it in the long run, production costs that apparated out of unexpected spaces. So I was very reticent to do a Kickstarter. Plus, if it didn't work, that's a death knell for future production too.
Yeah, really.
You know, like it's hard to walk into a pitch room and be like, hey, yeah, we're those guys that couldn't even raise funds.
We're 0 for 1, but hoping to go 1 for 2 on this one, baby.
Yeah, it was tough. But we were like, hopefully the community wants this as much as we do. We're like $750K for a pilot is still relatively cheap for animation, but no small drop in the bucket. I don't know if people will be down for that. We were very, very, very wrong. And it really changed things in ways that we weren't anticipating. One, it more than any moment showed how this community was with us on wanting to see these things realized, which was very emotional. And it changed perspective from a lot of studios that previously weren't quite understanding what the spark was we were bringing to this space. Yeah, we were very grateful after a lot of these conversations. Prime Video came at us with an incredible partnership opportunity of going more or less, you understand this more than anybody. Please be the creative leads on this. We'll support you in what you need. We don't own you as a company. Let's make the best show we can in the way that helps you do and see your vision through in the best way. And it's been wild. Like the community support and the ability to bring this we've said we'd be able to bring the entire story of Vox Machina to its complete close with 5 seasons, which is incredible. And now with Mighty Nein hitting, which is a very, very different vibe. Same world, 20 years later, different continent, a very strange and wild plethora of characters, but it's very political. It's darker in some ways, it's wilder in others. They're definitely meant to kind of stand alone as much as they sit next to each other, just like the original campaigns did that they're based on. Yeah. This is crazy.
I agree with you.
It's crazy that this is happening.
It's crazy and also it's not. Like it's crazy and also it's deserved. It's both life is completely random and then also entropy, but then order. It's like this is what it is, man. You think I think this isn't fucking crazy?
No, fair.
This is crazy.
Yeah. None of this makes sense.
No, you're casting spells on Kevin Sorbo in that movie, dude. That shit was nuts. You know? Matthew, for course number 3, despite all this food, this is simply Hainan chicken, one of the world's true great dishes. So we have the rice that has been cooked in fresh ginger and garlic chicken broth with a little bit of fresh chicken fat. And then we have the breast of the chicken that was actually poached whole in the aromatics and then shocked in ice to shut down the cooking and then hung up for a day to dry while the skin was brushed in salt and sesame oil. And then we have the ginger scallion oil plus a little bit of ketchup manis or sweet soy and then a chili sauce with, of course, the aromatic broth on the side.
I can't believe you did this. This is amazing. I'm so excited to dig in on this.
Dig in, please. To be given the opportunity to like nerd out on such a specific dish. And when I say given, I mean Lily. Lily smoked this dish and she was so stoked to try it.
Come on. It looks so simple, to your point. Like, it can very, very easily be just misconstrued as like standard just chicken and rice. There's so much that goes into this dish. And it's hard to find. There's a cluck to go in Pasadena out here that has decent Hainan chicken.
Yeah.
Actually only encountered Hainan chicken be 8 years ago. Me and my wife were on our honeymoon, and we spent part of our honeymoon in Singapore. Partially because we wanted to see the space and enjoy the environment. I mean, Marina Bay was fine. It's the very rich kind of core, but more to actually see true Singapore beyond that. And I'd recorded on a video game called Masquerada with a studio called Witching Hour. And the head of the studio, Ian, was very kind and was like, I'll show you around and take you into the city.
That's
so
awesome.
We met up with him and he took us to enjoy all the true culinary delights and the culture of Singapore beyond that. And that's where he introduced us to true Hainan chicken. Blew our minds. We got to meet a number of wonderful local chefs and just kind of go from stage to stage, but this one just stuck with us to the point where we came back home after the honeymoon. We immediately went to find a local place that could do it decently. And it's still like a special treat for us a couple times a year when we're like, reminiscing about the honeymoon, or we just kind of really feel in the mood, we'll try and seek it out to kind of sift in that space.
It sounds like Marisha introduced you to so many things that have so much value in your life now.
Absolutely. She's the most important thing in my life. And conversely, I hope I've done the same for her. And then there's many opportunities like this that we've taken together to kind of, sow and create these memories. And this is definitely one of them, to the point where we have art on one of our walls of both xiaolongbao and Hainan chicken.
No way.
Just a beautiful artistic rendition we got at a massive food festival a few years ago, and we're like, that has to live on our wall. We got it custom framed and everything. It was great.
I love to view a relationship as like two pillars, people that can like stand on their own, but when you combine them holding up the same structure, they are, stronger than they could ever be apart. And it's like, my wife, for instance, she loves painting and drawing. And when the pandemic happened, I would all show my love by cooking for her. And then the pandemic happened and shut down all the restaurants that we loved. She actually like watercolor painted all of the most memorable meals that either I had cooked for her or that we went out to eat. It was kind of this beautiful, value exchange sounds so cynical, but it was like, I'm good at this and this is something that you can never experience and touch. And she doesn't know how to make chicken tortilla soup, and I do. But it's that thing. Likewise, when you proposed to Marisha, you created a whole Lovecraftian escape room in the way that surely only you can do. How did that go down?
I'm the least perceptive person in the world. I am known amongst many of my friends to be just oblivious to the world around me. But she is the other way. She can look at a person for a second and like read them front to back, where they've been, what their intent is. Like she keeps us safe. So to try and get one over on her for a surprise, it was a lot of like plotting with friends and trying to think what could possibly, both thematically appropriate, but also kind of catch her off guard. And it was a lofty idea to try and maybe like do like a fake escape room. I don't even know if we had the options for it. And through like pooling amongst friends, we found a space that we could use for a short time. Me and my buddy Taliesin would sneak out during the week to go to thrift stores and find like old antique furniture for $10. We would invite friends over on the weekend to build flats and paint them. And it was a communal experience over weeks building it, to the point where she began to suspect something, and she would like call me out on. There was an argument we had where she was like, "What is going on? What are you doing? You're gone for all this time? Are you working? I don't know something doesn't feel right." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. No, truly, it's okay." Once again, I'm a terrible liar, which is why I don't lie. And she is really good at knowing something was off. She was totally right. But yeah, we built more or less a 2-roomed, really simple escape room with some really fun puzzles, and we set up some cameras, and I got separated very early on to the offside, pretending I was in another chamber, but I was just watching on the cameras and making stuff up. And it ended with a kind of cosmic horror ritual where Travis had a big tentacle arm, and there was like you do, I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks better on our recording than in the janky in-person scenario. It really was. It was shoestring budget. And even then, like, she, in hindsight, was like, partway through I knew what was going on.
What gave it away? The giant Cthulhu-like tentacle arm. Surely it must be a proposal.
Right. Well, to be fair, we did start tailoring the puzzles to be a little more personal.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And starting to lean a little towards the romantic. We weren't trying to keep it like a full secret. It was like, let's make this about something special, while also being suffused in dark cosmic terror, existential dread. Mm-hmm.
Which is a metaphor for your marriage, of course. Yeah, microcosm.
So far, so great. It will consume all of you.
Love it.
Eventually. But like, also, I was like, I also want to give her the opportunity to do what she does best, which is be a hero and kill the monsters. So like, a friend of ours helped craft this light up blade that he cast in resin, and a part of the puzzle was putting the pieces together. And then the Travis character had like a glowing hole in its chest with a fake torso that we made sure was thick enough that he wouldn't actually be stabbed. But of course, we weren't paying attention, and what was supposed to be a metal letter opener, part of the puzzle, she thought was the blade we were talking about, and we were like, oh God, she's gonna stab Travis with an actual knife if we don't interject. And so like, friend off the side was like, wrong blade, and had to like make sure she was like, it was janky in all the best ways. And then while all my friends were sitting around in cult robes in the ground pretending they were dead, I secretly pulled out my ring and proposed to her like a normal person. We're normal couple.
I think you're exactly not a normal couple, which is, I think, what makes you such a delightful couple. And I think everybody is not normal in their own way. It's interesting to hear you say that, though, you're not very perceptive. Because I know you've kind of described yourself a bit as the therapist of your friend group, as somebody who people come to for that kind of advice. And I would think that emotional perceptiveness is also maybe part of GMing.
I think I'm very emotionally perceptive and emotionally in tune when it's about other people. I don't know if it's a point of intentional innocence in my head. I like to think of the best in people, but also I do not perceive myself, in the instance of people flirting, I struggle with the concept of anybody wanting to flirt with me.
Is that something that is just sealed in from such a young age? I mean, you talked about, not really having a ton of friends, and I struggle with the same exact thing. I was just super overweight as a kid and, didn't have any attention from parents and didn't really know where to get it and felt very alone all the time. Yeah. And so I deal with a similar thing where I'm when I pass myself in a mirror, sometimes I don't recognize the thing that I see looking back.
I've spoken a little bit on it in the past, but I do have body dysmorphic disorder. I have a hard time seeing myself outside of a psychological filter in which I believe myself to be an unattractive, grotesque thing.
Over 1,000 hours of gameplay in Critical Role, surely the exposure therapy must have done something.
There's a journey to it. I think I'm better than I used to be. I know I acknowledge I still have a long way to go, but I'm very grateful that I'm surrounded by very supportive people, with a community that is very supportive. And at the very least, I like to be very open about these things because they aren't talked about often, especially by men. It's gotten better than it used to be, but we have a culture around masculinity to where it is considered weak to discuss challenges when it comes to body image, when it comes to emotion, when it comes to all these different things, in which it's exactly the opposite, because you see a lot of people that don't have these discussions crashing out, having very challenged interpersonal relationships, whether it be romantically or just in a social community space. That worries me at times, which is why I think with those of us who have platforms like this, to have these open conversations is that much more important, because we're all going through it in our own unique way. Every person out there, whether or not they acknowledge it or they talk about it or they try and hide it, we're all having our own specific unique challenges. And whether or not you're comfortable talking about it, having some people talk about it, hopefully helps somebody out there feel seen, feel like they aren't alone, and feel like there is a path forward in trying to live with these challenges. And it is living with. There is no cure for these things. Yeah. I think that's the acknowledgement too, is there's no way to be I spent 3 years and it's gone. It's everything is mitigating those challenges. And so as long as you can acknowledge that it is something that you can work towards and work with for a long time and get it to a manageable space or better, and you're not doing it alone.
I think one of the most valuable things that somebody said to me was thinking that all your mental challenges are uniquely yours is kind of a form of narcissism and selfishness. You think you are so special that you're the only person that's ever thought about this? No, man, it's everybody. Talk to them more. Matthew, for the final course of your final meal, we have flan. Yeah. Simply flan. Beautiful caramel on top, nice and eggy and sweet. Would you like to do the bris, or would you like me to? Oh. It looks like it might be very satisfying for you to carve into, and I think it might be very fun.
I've never heard of referring to cracking into a flan as a bris, so this adds a unique context. L'chaim. All right. Oh, it is satisfying though. Here, I'll tell you what. I'll get one half of it, and you get to share the other.
This is, I think, the only truly equitable way to do it. Also, I've never seen a flan cut with a flexible boning knife, but I kind of love it.
It's kind of great. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Wow.
Damn.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Little quiver.
Just a little quiver. Oh no, oh god, oh, he did not nail the distance.
That's okay. Rough points on delivery, but overall still a very solid landing on the plate.
Oh. That one's cleaner. I should have given myself the first slice since I was botched.
You're sweet.
Cheers, man. This has been wonderful.
Cheers, indeed. Thank you so much. Oh, it's funny. There are many desserts that I enjoy. But spending most of my life in Southern California and having many friends who's going over to have sleepovers at their house, and their, abuelita would make an amazing flan. There's just something about it that one screams family. For me, at least, screams being welcome in somebody else's family's home.
Yeah.
And I just love the culmination of simple flavors with an incredible texture, and the caramel itself, which I'm gonna go ahead and spoon a little more of this.
Do it. I've spent pretty much my whole life here, and like, there's so many things that I think I took for granted. Like, even growing up in Orange County, it was like a tremendously diverse neighborhood where I could just eat the best, Vietnamese food in the nation in Little Saigon, and then, 20 miles south, not even 20 miles, 5 miles south, be in Santa Ana, the biggest Mexican populations. It's like such a gift to be able to travel so much of the world in such a small area.
Absolutely. I've been ever since I moved out through all my 20s up till now, I've very much been a valley rat. San Fernando Valley has been that place because it's affordable. But also, it's such a cultural mixing pot. Just to find little hole in the wall spaces and meet some strangers and strike up a conversation and learn about each other, and then either head off into the night or like, hey, you guys want to go over to this place and do some karaoke at like 1 a.m.? You walk into one bayou-themed New Orleans bar that didn't have a liquor license, so they're trying to make you hurricanes with sake and a Sazerac with vermouth. But we're glad we did it, and we had a wonderful time. We had a wonderful time. But there's a sense of like exploration around that. And that's the thing too. Yeah, you have to embrace the chaos of what may come. I don't know, if you can appreciate a good bad movie, then you're in the right space for it, if that makes sense. If you can go into a space and be like, this place is trash, and I appreciate it because it's trash.
We ended at Chili's, and we did. And we did, man. Best drinks we had all night. It was beautiful.
That's the way to do it.
How do you embrace that chaos during a D&D campaign, especially knowing that you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people watching? I know you said you still get nervous every time you do it, but like, there's one thing getting nervous for your friends, which is very reasonable, and then there's another thing of getting nervous for a horde of internet strangers who, if they really wanted to, could either take over Tuvalu or destroy you. And sometimes it feels like you never know which is gonna come.
I'm glad you brought it up. It's great.
I told people to cook chicken to 155 instead of 165, and they said they were gonna contact the health department and send them here.
You understand. We've worked hard to cultivate our game space to still be as close to a home game experience for us as we can, to where at the point I can mostly forget it within the first 15 minutes of playing. And the only reason that any of this has happened with Critical Role over these years, I believe, and I firmly believe it, is because it's just us opening a window to what we'd be doing anyway. So the nerves of an audience being present have to not be part of that equation, or else it will corrupt what our joy is, and as such, why we're here. It would be much easier for us to not build sets and just do green screen or to do music in post. But that immersion is for us. It's for us as players. It's, I don't build things for the people that are watching, because I trust that if I'm doing it for them, the audience will also enjoy it. And even if they don't, not being on social media as much is also very helpful.
Hey, you can just not look at it.
Yeah.
I just deleted Twitter, and suddenly all the bad things that used to be on Twitter that I would stress about, they're simply not there.
They're gone.
I haven't gone on Reddit in over a year. It's incredible.
It's what, yeah.
I'm free.
Honestly, like not going on Reddit has been such a joyful experience. and there's great discourse on Reddit, but it's just mired in the possibility of finding the overwhelmingly negative things. And I'm not discounting people's perspectives. Everyone can have an opinion. Some opinions are wrong.
I was on Reddit and I saw some things about you, which is the worst way anybody can ever start a sentence. But no, I'm curious what your emotions are when you hear the term the Mercer Affect. Because that was a crazy thing that I had never considered, and I found it to be damn near Greek tragedy level in a very strange way. And the Mercer Affect is effectively, you're so good at GMing that when people watch Critical Role and they actually go into a real game in their own life, they're disappointed because their GM can never live up to what you've created.
Yes, that was the whole Mercer Affect impetus early into our time. It's so sad that that's the takeaway. My immediate reaction now is, if you walk into that expectations for a GM to be me, you better step up to be as good as Laura Bailey, or Sam Riegel or any other players at our table. But secondly, you shouldn't want them to be me. There are every person that runs a game, there are things that I can do far better than them, and there are things that they can do far better than I ever can. Every table has its own unique flavor, its own unique atmosphere. And instead of celebrating what makes that table unique and the collaboration that happens there, to walk in with that sort of expectation is more of a judgment on who you are as a person and how you walk in the world than anybody who's trying to build a story for you to have fun could possibly present. So for me, the Mercer Affect, for a number of years, kind of hung like an albatross on my shoulders. I've spoke about how much it hurt my heart, how it goes against the idea of why I even wanted to do this. The whole point was to try and inspire people to play. And the good news is, by and large, I think that's true. I talk to so many people. It's weird, I know, on the internet, sometimes the loudest people are the vast minority. But nevertheless, I don't want to either, or I don't want to also say that people haven't had a negative experience that they've attributed to this. But sometimes that's just, it's less about what this effect is and more the fact that some people are unfair and assholes at a table.
And also a super minority that is at a very specific time in their lives when they would do that and likely will look back on those interactions and regret it in a certain regard.
Possibly.
I'd like to believe so. At least that tends to be the way that I view those kinds of interactions. I don't know if that's foolhardy or not.
No, it's not foolhardy. You have to be optimistic in that regard. I don't know what challenges they're facing in their life, what lack of control they are struggling with. So I can only accept, or can only assume, for some of them at least, that it's more of a reflection of them trying to express their frustrations with their life in a way, in a forum that they feel like they have a little bit of control to do so. And that allows me a little more distance to go, well, I hope this helped you, and let it wash off my back a little better. And then not going on social media for the most part has also helped tremendously.
Do you remember any of the lyrics from the song about your grandfather that your father wrote that was about forgiveness? And does any of this general empathy always come from what you learned from your father about that?
Your kind of heart with a loving soul. Yeah, Joe Miller, my dad's dad, complicated figure. I use my father as a perfect example of somebody that could have easily been shaped by a challenged childhood into a person as dark as their father was, and instead made the very active choice to go the very opposite direction. My dad writing the song Old Joe about him was very much a recollection of the things that were important to him, the bits of light that he still saw in spite of all that. And the things that he held on to understand that a lot of this was circumstantial, a lot of this was a tough atmosphere that forged him into a hardened, bitter, angry person, acknowledging that in the middle of all that was still someone who was capable of love, and somebody that he could learn from the good bits and acknowledge the bad bits enough to not fall into those same traps and mistakes, and has not.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that song, yeah, that song is a special part in my heart because it's a special part in his, and I'm very proud of my dad for acknowledging and choosing to take the different path.
We ask every episode, what do you think happens when you die? On to some lighter material.
Yeah. It's interesting. I have a hard time believing in absolute oblivion, if only because information is not destroyed. Energy and information transfers. It continues. Everything is altered and changed by what it interacts with. When two pieces of matter collide, they are both irrevocably changed and carry the information of that collision with them. So whether it be the ashes and dust of my body return to the earth and become, the livelihood of the plants and critters and creatures that are grown from it and continue it forward, I have a hard time not believing, as I get up in my later years, that there is some sort of continuation, maybe not in the consciousness that we understand here. I've studied a lot of religion just from a cultural and historical fascination with it. And there are aspects of the philosophies that I kind of cobbled together for myself. I wouldn't consider myself religious. I do have I guess you could say, a light spirituality that is mostly based in, maybe to borrow a little bit of my mom and dad hippieism, hey man, it's all vibes and we're just here for a short time, enjoy. That's kind of where I sit. So I think what happens when we die is We hopefully have the opportunity to look back on the impact that we've left, if we're lucky enough to have that moment, to appreciate the lessons, to appreciate some semblance of legacy, and return to the elements that we were birthed from, and maybe some semblance of consciousness or emotion carries on in some subatomic level into all the different other parts of life that will spring forth from what we leave behind.
I watched this really great documentary called Inception. That gave me a fair amount of hope.
I like that.
You ready to go to the lightning round?
Let's go for it.
Who's the one person, dead or alive, you'd want to share your actual last meal with?
Off the top of my head, I would say Richard Feynman.
What song do you want to be played at your funeral?
The Final Fantasy prelude music.
How many times have you fully played through the video game Akiba Strip?
Not all the way through. I partially played through it once. Not all the way through.
Fake fan. What's your biggest fear?
Unintentionally hurting the people I care about.
What's your greatest regret?
Not spending more time with my first dogs.
You once DM'd for Stephen Colbert. Who is next on your bucket list of people to DM for?
Everything at this point's gravy. Like I've had those points in my life where I'm like, I hit my goals. Everything from this point is I'm just happy to be here having fun. You know what? I'll keep it in the genre. Jon Stewart. We have them both at the table.
You have 49 different special skills listed on your Actors Access resume.
Oh no!
I'm going to list some off.
No, I forgot about that. I haven't used it in years.
How much you lied about them. First, bungee jumping. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you lie about being able to bungee jump?
No, I bungee jumped a few times.
Roller skating?
Yeah, at the time I was okay at it. I had parties at roller rinks.
Swimming, breaststroke.
Yes, I could swim and I could do a breaststroke.
Swimming, backstroke.
Weirdly, also can backstroke.
Swimming, butterfly.
I don't remember what that is.
Why did they make you choose all individual strokes on Actors Access?
It's one of the sheer joys of being a new actor is trying to find whatever way you can to pad the resume, because they only look at it at a glance, and if it looks like it has a lot of words, that looks important. Yeah, you put like can operate a toaster. You know, like
What was my next one? You can't operate a toaster?
I can, yeah.
Okay, good.
Mostly.
Finally, Matthew, are you happy?
I am extremely happy. This meal has been a delight. This sharing of story has been a delight, and you've been such a kind host and having me in your space. So thank you so much.
Julie, no, thank you for being so complimentary. Thank you for being so forthcoming. Just thank you for being who you are, man. It's been truly a pleasure.
Really appreciate it, buddy.
If you want to deliver your last words to that camera right there.
Thanks. That's it.
Everyone check out the Mighty Nein. Seems weird to hit a plug after saying so.
Oh, it's the best time.
Truly the
Mighty Nein. What are you talking about?
Incredible, man. Dude, congrats on all the success, on everything, man. It's been such a joy.
Yeah, pleasure's mine. Yeah, check out Mighty Nein on Prime Video. We're super excited. We're super proud. It's gonna be a journey. I'm gonna finish some more of this vlog. So.
I think my body's gonna go into shock if I keep eating it. It's so dense. That's what makes
it
so good, though.
Exactly. We'll nap out of this, right? That's how it works.
We all gotta eat, and we know you're dying to get your hands on a last meal's apron and pin. Get yours now at mythical.com.